So thank you for joining this seminar. I will present the highlights from IACS, the International Association of Cryospheric Sciences, and I'm the current president of IACS. So the outline of my talk today is to talk about what is IACS, also mention IACS and IACS corporations, what we do in IACS, and I want to mention several new working groups and also how you can engage in IACS. And just wanted to mention that I work as research professor at NVE, and I'm also doing mass balance investigations on glaciers. The three glaciers there, Martin Red, Solbren, Gråsebren, and Helsugebren. And the reason why I mention is that these are data that we deliver to a glacier monitoring service, and also doing several repeat glacier inventories that you mentioned to GLIMS and delivered to GLIMS. And both VGMS and GLIMS are bodies I will talk about in my talk. So what is IACS? I will present that in several slides. So IACS is part of the International Union of Geodesy and Geophysics, IUGG. So it's one of 8 associations. It's the youngest one, and IACS was established in 2007. IACS has 6 divisions: snow and avalanches, glaciers, ice sheets, cryosphere, atmosphere and climate, sea ice, lake and river ice, and planetary and other ices of the solar system. So you can say it's all the Earth's cryosphere except permafrost, but we also have planetary and other ices of the solar system. I just want to also mention some of our objectives is to encourage research on cryospheric sciences through collaboration and cooperation. So international cooperation is important to us. We want to promote education and public awareness about the cryosphere, and also to facilitate the standardization of measurements and collection of data on cryospheric systems, and the analysis, archiving, and publication of such data. I want to mention also shortly about IACS history. So even if we were established in 2007, the history goes further back. The figure here is from Andreassen et al. From 2019. So this is a paper written about the IACS history in connection with the 100 year of celebration of IUGG. So already in 1894, there were commissioned Internationale des Glaciers, and François Alphonse Forel, he was the first president, and they stressed the importance of observational guidelines to make national reports comparable with one another for glacier measurements. They saw the glacier were changing. In 1919, IUGG was established. Then there are several commissions, but in 1948 we had the hydrology, IACS, International Commission on Snow and Ice, ICSI. In 1986, a World Glacier Monitoring Service was established, and then in 2007, IACS was established. And Liz Morris, Geo Kase, Gary Jones is a picture of her. They are honorary members of IACS and were very central in the establishing of IACS. Liz is also previous IACS president. And Ian Allison, the first official IACS president from 2007, and Asumo Omura is also honorary member of IACS, central in establishing and the first phase of IACS. So, who are IACS? Who are we? This is the new elected bureau from from this year on, and we are elected for a 4-year period. So I'm president. Mathieu Mulligan from the US is our next president, so he will take over from me after 2 years. Then Richard Esri is our Secretary General. We have vice presidents, head of divisions, and we also have 4 deputy division heads. So we are quite proud of our international bureau, covering different ages, geographical distribution, and good also cryosphere topic distribution. And you can find all the contact information on our homepage. So just want to highlight the new bureau members from this summer and on. So Mathieu Mulligan, the new president-elect, Rebecca Mott, for division head for snow and avalanches, Farooq Assam from India, from the new glacier division head, Sandra Pereira, new division head for sea ice, lake and river ice. And then we have Vincent Vionnet, the new deputy for snow and avalanches. This schematic slide shows the different activities of IACS. So we have joint commissions. So these are commissions that in cooperation with other associations of IUGG. So I will present all three of them later on a slide, the cryospheric formation, ice-ocean interactions, and the volcano ice interaction. I will also present our new joint body, the status of mountain snow cover. Then currently we have three working groups, Randolph Glacier Inventory and its role in future glacier monitoring and glimpse, debris-covered glaciers, and the regional assessment of glacier mass change RAGMARK. But several of these are towards the end, so we are now focusing on establishing new working groups, and I will present that towards the end of my talk. We also have two standing groups. One is GAPAS, and the other one is Global Terrestrial Network for Glaciers and the steering committee. And I also will present that. Then the World Glacier Monitoring Service is a service of IACS. So IACS is related to IGS and we cooperate in several ways. I just want to mention a few of those cooperation. One thing is the international workshop on mass balance measurements and modeling. In the early phase of IACS, I was convening that in Norway, and this was a cooperation between IGS, IACS, Glacier Monitoring Service, and NV. And out of this workshop came actually one of the first working groups on mass balance terminology and methods, and we have a glossary by Cogley et al. From this very important early work of IACS. Then I also want to highlight the symposium, the Pleasant Symposium we had in New Zealand in 2017 on a cryosphere in a changing climate. This was a cooperation between IGS, IACS, and CLIC. And I hope that we can have more joint symposium in the future. Another thing that IACS and IGS share is the Graham Cogley Award. IACS gives that out every second year for outstanding student oral and poster presentations at Assembly. So this year we presented it at the IUGG General Assembly in Berlin, and we selected two winners, Laura Dietrich and Erik Löber. IGS gives out the prize to two early career scientists who have published a paper of exceptional quality in Journal of Glaciology or Annals of Glaciology. And Hester Giscott, the IGS chief editor, just recently announced the winners on CryoList. So they are listed here, and if you go both to the IGS website or to the IACS website, you can see the previous winners. And this award was established in memory of Graham Cogley and recognizes excellence in glaciological research by early career scientists. And this award was initiated and is generously sponsored by the Cogley family and is shared between IACS and IGS. We also in IACS have another early career prize. This is for the best scientific paper on a cryospheric subject. It's handed out every second year. And this year it was handed out to Veronica Tollenhag from Belgium and Yixi Zheng from UK. This is an early career scientist prize, a cash prize, and awarded every 2 years to two early career scientists who have published the best scientific papers on a cryospheric subject. And to the right, you can see previous winners. And next year, we will have a call for the next award. that will be for papers published in 2023, this year or next year. And then we will hand it out at our next assembly in Busan in 2025. So if you are interested to see this, read the papers and read about previous winners and papers, you'll find all the information on our website. So after this summer, we had the IACS had its General Assembly at the IUGG General Assembly. And after this assembly, we conducted a survey. And one of the questions was, are you aware of these IACS activities? Just to see what people were aware of. We got about 300 respondents. And from the figure, you see that the IACS working groups was what people were mostly aware of. Then the Graham-Cogley Award, IACS Early Career Prize, then etc. People were less aware of joint commissions with the IUGG associations and also our very new status of the mountain snow cover. Of course, these have not endured as long as some of the other activities, but in my talk now I will also present that. I mentioned the Global Terrestrial Network for Glaciers, the GTNG. This is a figure I copied from their website. And this is the Global Terrestrial Network for Glacier, consists of World Glacier Monitoring Service, NSIDC, the National Snow and Ice Data Center, and then the GLIMS, responsible for archiving glacier outlines, global glacier outlines. So GTNG together have several data collection, glacier map collection, glacier regions, fluctuation of glacier, World Glacier Inventory, GLIMS inventory, runoff glacier inventory, photograph collection, and glacier thickness data set. And I mention this because IACS is responsible for the steering committee, and Gwen Flowers, the previous division head of the glacier, and the advisory board conducted the evaluation report of the GTNG. This has been done several times in the past, and we have a full evaluation every 8 years and then a midterm evaluation in between. So Gwen, as a chair of the advisory board, then the previous glacier division head, and now the current IACS president, I prepared this report in February, giving recommendations of what WGMS and GLIMS and NSIDC could focus on. One of the recommendations was also to see if we can include more data types. Now we have a new glacier division head, and that is Farooq Assam from India, and we also have established a new GTNG advisory board. So in the previous report that I mentioned, the evaluation report, Ben Marsayon and Fanny Brun, and Gwen Flowers, and also several others were involved. But now there will be a midterm evaluation in 2026 or 2027, in about 3 years. And then they will follow up these recommendations. This report is not public to my knowledge, but it is helpful for GTNG to plan the further work. So this is also one of the activities and responsibilities of IACS. IACS have grants that people can apply for. We support requests for workshops and other activities. Especially we are interested in supporting summer schools and educational activities. We recently increased our travel grant to 3,000 euros, and we have 3 deadlines every year: 1st February, 1st June, and 1st October. So if you want to apply, the next deadline is 1st February, and you see find the form and also requirements, etc., on our homepage. We also have travel grants to IACS assemblies, so they are held every 2nd year. This year we had the IUGG General Assembly in Berlin. The next assembly will be a joint assembly in Busan in Korea in 2025, and there will also be IUGG General Assembly in Incheon, also in Korea in 2027. So so at that time, when that time approaches, we will make calls that so people can apply for support attendance. So IACS offers individual membership. The current membership is about 1,200 members, but we think we have potential for more members. It's free, so it's just to sign up. You find everything on our homepage, and you can also see the statistics. So these two plots show members per division. These are statistics that are made every day. So this is the current statistics from 1st November today on the member per division, and also geographical distribution. To see, most of our members are from Europe, North America, and Asia, and then a few are from South America and Oceania. IACS also have a code of conduct. So all participants in IACS activities and communication have a role in creating an inclusive environment through their own behavior and by active allyship. You can find this code of conduct on our homepage. So we urge our members to be considerate, respectful, and collaborating, and critiquing ideas rather than individuals. IACS also have a policy about reducing our carbon footprint. We are following up the IUGG Resolution 1 on reducing carbon footprint by research community. So in September 2021, we adopted that. Key points are: meeting locations should be optimized to reduce travel. IACS Assembly should encourage and facilitate more online engagement to complement the in-person program. And IACS encourages the use of ground transportation instead of air travel when possible for shorter travels. And between IACS assemblies, we will continue to hold its annual bureau meetings via teleconferencing or as hybrid meetings. This we have done that for many years now, to have online meetings. We meet every month or second month, and then we have annual bureau meetings. And it works quite well. Of course, it's challenging with the time difference, but it's easier to stay up a little bit late, like I do today, than to travel to give a talk. IACS communications, how we communicate. So we have our homepage, cryosphericsciences.org, where you find a lot of the material that I talked about today. And this screenshot just shows the menu that you can navigate in. We also at Twitter, or it's now called X, IACS Cryo. So we make tweets. We are maybe not the most active, but you find some tweets and you can follow us there. We publish a newsletter maybe 2 to 4 times per year, depending on what we want to announce. So this is the May newsletter, where we announce the Early Career Researcher Award. And then the IACS newsletter from August, where we reported from the IUG Assembly. So it's typically a 4-page newsletter, sometimes a 2-page newsletter. So it's one way to collect different reports from our working groups and workshops, travel grants, and etc. We also email to our members and to CryoList when there are important calls. We try not to email too often, so you don't need to be afraid to sign up. There are not that many emails a year. I want to stress that IACS has an early career focus. We have awards, the Early Career Researcher Award that I mentioned for the best paper, and the Graham Cogley Award for the best student presentation, oral and poster. And we also nominate to the IUGG Early Career Scientist Award that is given out every 4th year. So this year we got 3 awardees. And for the best early career scientist award. Activities, we have deputies appointed by the division heads. So we have several early career scientists in the IACS Bureau. We also have several young early career scientists as working group leaders, and also in the GT&G advisory board. So I don't have names on the photos, but these are awardees, GT&G advisory board members, working group leaders, our bureau members, etc. We also are affiliated with APEX, and as I mentioned, we give out grants, and that is focusing on the early career, summer schools, etc. Then I continue with our different groups. So GAPAS, Scientific Standing Group on Glacier and Permafrost Hazards. So this is a standing group between IACS, the International Association of Cryospheric Sciences, and the International Association of Permafrost. And the current leaders, they have rotating every second year, and it's Michel Coppes, Holger Frey, and Pratima Pandey. And they also have an advisory board. They are now about 190 members from 24 countries. And their goal is to improve communication and collaboration on cryospheric hazards. They organize conference sessions, meetings, and seminars, support scientific publication and dissemination. And if you're interested, you can check out the GAPAS guidelines that was published last year. You find it on their website. And they also sponsored a workshop on glacier lake outburst floods, and there is a summary paper by Emmer et al. That is worthwhile checking out. Then we have 3 joint commissions. So joint commissions is a commission joint with another IUGG association. There are many abbreviations there. So IIG is the International Association of Geodesy. And their objectives is to improve ice loading, unloading histories, improvement of Earth rheologic models, etc. You find all the objectives on the homepage. And I will not go through everything here, but this is a slide that was presented at the IACS plenary this summer. And they are co-sponsoring glacial isostatic adjustment and the training school that was held this year. They have initiated a benchmark exercise for 3-dimensional glacial isostatic adjustment models. And they're planning a new workshop next year. Then we have another joint commission on ice-ocean interaction. This is a joint commission with the International Association of the Physical Sciences of the Oceans, IAPSO. And their objectives are to address unknowns in the ice-ocean interaction. It's a very important topic. Facilitate knowledge exchange. They have been very active, several workshops, and articulating knowledge gaps. They wrote a community report. And you can see the leadership here. And Felicity McCormack told me that they are now developing a framework for observing and modeling ice-ocean interactions in advance of the Antarctica InSync and the IPY 2032. And they hope to host a workshop sometime next year. So they encourage to please get in touch to find out more or be involved. They have a generic email that you see on the on this slide, and they have their homepage and Twitter account. So you find all information there. Then the third joint commission is together with the International Association of Volcanology and Chemistry of the Earth's Interior. So the Volcano Ice Interaction Joint Commission. And the news there is the current leadership of IAFSE, Rosie Cole, Chris Conway, and Erin Fitch are stepping down, and they have appointed new leaders, Lestin Barr and Linda Sobolewski. The IACS chairs, Sean Eves and Rodrigo Soteres, will continue another year, but next year this will be renewed. So if you are interested in this topic, please contact the chairs. And this was re-established as a joint commission in 2019. And it promotes research support session, foster connection in glacial volcanism. And they have an email list, website, and Twitter. And the plan for an online gallery on glacial volcanism images for teaching research use. And as I said, they will elect new IACS leaders next year. And you also find more about them on their website. And you find links from that on our homepage, on the IACS homepage. They made a special topic in Frontiers in Earth Science that you see there, and they also had a field trip this year. Then we have the newest activity in IACS is a joint body of the status of the mountain snow cover. So joint body is a joint activity between several organizations. So this is joint with the Mountain Research Initiative, the Global Cryospheric Watch, World Meteorological Organization, and IACS. And they are still establishing it, the work they are going to do, but they have now more than 100 experts involved, and they have several side meetings at each EGU, IUGG, online meetings, etc., etc. And they also contributed to the WMO EUMETSAT workshop on mountain snow product intercomparison exercise. They have established several working group and work packages, and the first one is on mountain snow data quality control and homogenization for use in climatology and hydrology, and started work with revising the work plan and planning for a data inventory. And they have another work package on status of snow cover, multi-decadal changes in mountain regions of the world. And this is an inventory of in situ snow information from mountain regions as the basis for a white paper. So if you're interested in getting involved in that, contact Wolfgang Schöner or some of the other chairs, and you also find information on that on our homepage. I also wanted to mention something that is not really related to cryosphere, but more in general. But IACS has several times been exposed for phishing emails, so people misuse our emails, or the presidency or other IACS officers pretending to be us IACS presidents or other officers. Red flags is that the message is sent using a public domain, for instance, Gmail, Outlook, or Yahoo. The email is poorly written and the message is very urgent. So when you get such an email, please check the email address, click on it, don't send it, but just click on it, because it's typically you will then see that it's a fake email address. And if you are in doubt, please contact the officer via the official email or use other channels, text message or phone call to confirm it. And IACS will not ask you for money, so be very careful if they ask you for money. They typically don't ask that in the first email, but after the second or third. So I just want to mention it. I get several emails a year when people ask me if this is really me, so they are misusing it. Now I want to talk about IACS working groups. So IACS working groups address scientific problems of the cryosphere that are timely and well constrained. They have explicit aims, objectives, milestones, and deliverables. They are international in composition, and they are up to 4 years of duration. They report annually to IACS. And we fund them with 2,500 euros per year, in total 10,000 euros for a 4-year period. The 4-year period can be renewed for another 4-year period. I want to mention some of the highlights from working groups. This is not representing all the work that the IACS working groups have done, just some examples. The mass balance terminology and methods, as I mentioned, have this glossary of glacial mass balance and related terms. At least I use it a lot, and I see also others refer to it. It's a very good work published in 2011. Then the glacial ice thickness estimation. They have made estimates for every glacier in the world. This data set is used a lot, but we also have, through the glacial ice thickness estimation working group, we collected a lot of new glacier thickness data. And this is published in the GLATIDA database that the World Glacier Monitoring Service holds. So it was a huge data harvesting and a data paper, and the data are used to better model changes of the world's glaciers. Then another milestone is the RGI, Randolph Glacier Inventory, and its role in future glacier monitoring and GLIMS. This is the second working group of RGI, and they just released the RGI 7. And Regina and Graham Cogley was the first co-chairs. Now it's Fabian Masson, Regina and others. And the work they have been doing is tremendous, and it's a lot. It's used a lot in IPCC assessments and modeling. The more recent working group, Regional Assessment of Glacier Mass Change, RUGMAC, also made a full volume of frontiers about observational assessment of glacier mass change at regional and global level. So you can check out all the papers there. And just recently we published a paper, or not published, it's in discussion, observing glacier elevation change from spaceborne optical and radar sensors, intercomparison experiment. So this is sent to reviewers and will hopefully be published later, early next year. So these were some highlights from earlier and current working groups. But now I'm going to present some ideas we have for new working groups. And they vary from this proposal. This first proposal that I'm presenting has already been submitted to IACS and is now under internal review. And the decision will be made soon. So the glacier ice sheet delineation suggestion for a working group, they suggest to develop a community standard agreement on which ice masses in and around Greenland and Antarctica that fall into the glacier category and which are part of the main ice sheets. And they want a community agreement on internal ice sheet basins, subregions and boundaries, and develop methods and tools to support mass change estimates that avoid under or overcounting. In the figure you can see overlapping parts that are double counted. So the proposal has been submitted to IACS. They are waiting for approval, and if then approved, it will be announced and advertised on prior list and in other channels, and it will be open for those who want to participate. And the chairs are Ken Mankoff and Fabian Masson. Then we have another proposal for a working group that is not in a final proposal, but this is on Antarctica marginal ice zone processes. The objectives and goals of this is to understand the physical process of sea ice in the marginal ice zone, investigate the impact of wave ice interaction on the sea ice system and its effect on sea ice formation and melting, and study atmosphere-ocean ice feedbacks. We already have 2 chairs, but they want to fill out the 3rd co-chair position. So this is Mike Malan and Noah Kreitzman, and you can contact them if you are interested in joining this group. And then formalize the group and specific subgroups, and then they will send the proposal to IACS. Then we have another working group, Avalanche Atlas 200+, unification and revision of avalanche classification. This belongs to the Snow and Avalanche division. And the objectives there are to summarize, revise, and unify existing avalanche classification schemes based on the 1981 Avalanche Atlas, and summarize and consolidate various advances in snow and avalanche research. several topics they want to study. The next step is to draft the proposal and search for researchers internationally and people that represent the practical side of the snow and avalanche community. If you are interested, you can contact Jan Thomas Fischer, Johan Gomme, or the division head of the snow avalanche session, Rebecca Mott-Grunewald. Then we also have another work in progress on a snow to fern working group. The main objective here is to summarize and consolidate advances in snow fern physics that are relevant for model improvements, temperature gradient, metamorphic processes, stress-induced structure, microstructure changes, etc. You see all 5 objectives, sub-objectives there. Next steps is to draft the proposal and search for research internationally working on snow fern processes. And you can contact Anis Orsi, Rusika Dacic, Rebecca Mott-Grunewald, or Marie Dumont if you are interested in joining and as member or co-chair or are interested in this snow to fern working group. Then the G10 Global Tracing Network for Glacier had the brainstorming at IUGG this summer, and they have had several meetings afterwards discussing different plans. So one idea is to have a glacier benchmark dataset working group. The objective goals here is to compile observational datasets from glaciers as benchmark for the calibration and validation of spaceborne data and of numerical models, for instance, high-resolution digital elevation models, snow and fern density observation, etc. So here they need to find potential co-chairs and also decide on the topics. And if you're interested in that, you can contact Michael from Bergler's monitoring service. Michael also sent me another idea they are working on, that is radar penetration. The objective goals here is the collection of data sets and temporally as well as spatially appropriate reference elevation data sets like ISATS, IceBridge, Arctic Dem, for studying the problem of radar penetration into snow, fern, and ice. And here also they need to find the potential co-chairs and more thoroughly identify the topics they want to study. So if you're interested, you can contact Michael Semp on this one. Then we have Alex Fraser and Sandra Barreira, Deputy and Division Head of the Sea Ice, Lake and River Ice, are both working on sea ice, but they would like to have a working group also on lake and river ice. This is more an idea and they need to find interest from the community. If you work in these topics or know somebody interested, you can contact Alex or Sandra. And if you have some other ideas of a working group that is suitable, you can contact IACS. You find contact information on our homepage, or you can contact me or any other IACS officer. Then I just want to mention the next IACS assembly called BACO 25. This was planned held in 2021, but was postponed due to the pandemic. So we couldn't arrange it in 2021, but now it will be BACO 25. So Richard Esri, our Secretary General, will call for sessions, and this is coming soon, and the deadline for session is 1st of March. So if you have a suggestion for a session, that please contact Richard. And you can also see the call that will be sent to Cryolist later on. I just want to mention 2 other activities that IACS wants to be involved in or are involved in. First is the International Year of Glacier Preservation 2025 and the Glacier Day that will be marked from 2025 and onwards. This is UNESCO, World Meteorological Organization, WGMS, several organizations are involved in that, and IACS too participated at the first planning meeting in July, and we would like to mark that then we have the International Polar Year, and our Joint Commission on Ice-Ocean Interaction are involved in this, and this is an initiative also involving IACS and SCAR. And as announced in our previous August newsletter, there is this initiative of Antarctica in Sync, the International Science and Infrastructure for Synchronous Observation. And if you can contact the director of Ante Botjeus if you are interested in Antarctica in Sync or Olaf Eisen. So just to conclude, engage in IACS. I hope we can. I hope that IACS can continue to be an attractive cryospheric organization. We offer free membership. We have open participation in our working groups, joint commissions, and the joint body of SNOL. If you want, please suggest a session for Busan 2025 and join our assembly. And we will have an open call for nomination to the Early Career Research Award late next year. And for the IACS Bureau in 2027. And IACS is very international and international cooperation. And as I mentioned, IACS highlights, all of these goes is work that also benefits to the IPCC reports with the regional mass balance estimation and the glacier inventory and etc. So that was what I plan to say about IACS, and thank you for the attention.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. Does anyone have any questions at all for Liss? Roger.
Yeah, thanks very much, Liss. That's a really impressive organisation and lots of octopus arms out into lots of places academically. Do you have any links with government at all? Because it seems as though you ought to be quite a powerful organisation to tell government what's going on.
Well, actually, I didn't mention that, but next week I'm going to the One Planet Polar Summit in Paris, where it is actually interaction between policymakers and the scientists. And we are going to make a resolution for what's going on with the ice masses of the world. So there we will interact with the policymakers and politicians.
Okay, good luck. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other questions? You can just indicate in the chat if you would like to ask a question. I'm guessing people might be interested to know whether there is any funding available for projects, or are projects funded in the usual way through national organizations?
Yes, we have a funding available, but the sums are not that big. So it's kind of, I think of IACS as more as a framework and, you know, official stamp, you know, that this work is has an international context, and we can provide travel grants and we can provide some support. But of course, for large research projects, you need the external funding.
Thank you. Petra, do you want to unmute yourself and ask your question?
Sure. Sorry, you might have heard me scraping my coffee before I get ready for a long day in the office. Yeah, thanks. That was really interesting, Liss. something that I battle with is, and probably for background, I'm working in CI, so I feel like I'm sitting between the ocean and the atmosphere already. There is, in my view, this proliferation of different organizations. And I was wondering if IACS, I know you presented about the shared awards and initiatives, but what is the long-term way forward? As Roger just said, some of the organizations looking more to communicate the science, while others more look at, best practices and supporting initiatives either in modeling or in the field or analysis. Or I don't know, have you guys thought about it? Or is it just me who thinks there's a lot to keep on top of?
Yes, so it's a good question. In our objectives, we are both to promote public awareness, and so our objectives cover all that you asked about, actually. But of course, we are different organizations, and that can be confusing for some, with all these acronyms. And I know I presented many today too, but I think we do cooperate with the other organizations, and yeah, maybe that was not the best answer to your question, but we have an objective both to promote and to facilitate data management and so on. So it covers quite a big range of topics and objectives in IACS. We don't publish
Thanks for that.
journals, so as IGS do, that's a difference between us. But IACS, the hydrologists, they have journals, so we could have done that too, but we have not thought about that.
Yeah, no, sounds great. Thanks, Liz. Nice talk.
Thank you. Thank you.
Esther, I think you have a question as well.
Yeah, hi Liz. It's a bit of a continuation of Petra's question, and I think because you're talking in the IGS kind of platform right now, I think what's nice is that the two organizations are complementary. I don't think there's too much, there's no competition between us. But I think with all the other organizations, that could be, once a year that the presidents and maybe like one other actually come together to talk about like how, for example, where to publish certain things. What I see, for example, is that there's a lot of people that are really active in IGS. For example, several editors are also like leaders of the working groups. So I think there actually could be more collaboration with the IGS, and I have some ideas about it. But do you actually have like official kind of meetings once a year with, the presidents of the other groups or not?
The short answer is no, but on the other hand, it's also a bit of a yes, because Gwen and I, we communicate, and Gwen was also Glacier Division Head in IACS, and we have had several officers that are in both. I was also part of the council, and I'm scientific editor in IGS, in the Journal of Glaciology. So there are some, but I think maybe that something could be established to have a forum, because now it's kind of more at the personal contact level that we want to discuss. But at least Gwen and I have talked about several times that we want to discuss things, but we've not made it formally, rather more informal. But that's a good idea.
And the other thing is you have about 1,200 members, but when I see a lot of people do like and work in this organization and this one, I think one of the things that can be talked about is how to recruit kind of other people in a way more diverse, active members rather than a lot of passive members throughout.
Yes. And also on increasing diversity is also something we try to strive for, but of course it's also that it's voluntarily work, and also IGS work is mostly volunteer. When I'm scientific editor or council member of IGS, it's also volunteer work, or when I'm doing different duties for IACS. So you are also dependent on who says yes, who are willing to contribute.
Roland, do you have a comment?
Yes, thanks, Tabby. So thanks for this overview of I slightly agree with Petra that it can look a little bit like an octopus with tentacles in all directions. But one thing I wanted to emphasize is that IACS plays a very big role in the IUGG, and in particular the General Assembly, which sometimes people look for EGU and AGU because it comes around every year and it's easy. But the IUGG is sort of more like the Olympics in terms of how often it comes around. And from a little bit of experience of that, there's a tremendous amount of organizing work to put together the IACS component of an IUGG meeting. And you heard so many other more topical and interesting things today, but that's certainly one of the big tasks that must take a lot of time. Perhaps commented on the role as the newest association in the IUGG.
Yeah, thank you for that comment.
Frank, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you very much. Liz, thank you very much for this overview. I just want to stress or mention that it is really, really highly appreciated that so many of our community do this work and provide this free services to the community. Because it can actually not be underestimated, I would say, how important it is at some point to come back to this and put the link to the work, for example, the IACS working groups are doing in a research proposal to get funding. Because for these, it is really important to make useful work that have bigger scope somewhere, maybe also ending up in IPCC reports, of course. And so by linking to the activities from IACS in a research proposal, that's an absolute a cool thing to do to get the funding. And from this point of view, I just want to say a big thank you to all of those who really keep this thing going and help with all these activities, that we have this really lovely and rich and maybe not fully diverse community yet, but there's always room for improvement. But yeah, just to say thank you. It's really great that so many of us engage here and try to keep it in the way it is currently going.
Many thanks, Frank. And I actually have written a few letters of support to different research proposals. So I guess we also contribute in that way. And I also want to thank Frank for your immense support, and you are part of the GLIMS core team and several of our working groups, especially the RGI. So you are an example of one of the community experts that really is engaging and contributing to IACS and to our community in general.
Thank you very much for this, and I really benefit from it as well. So it's on both sides. Thank you.
I think we've run out of comments there, comments and questions, but thank you very, very much for your talk tonight, Liz. It's been really useful to learn more about actually an organization which I have to admit I didn't know enough about before. So that was really interesting. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Tavi. Thank you all for listening. It was very nice to see you and have a chance to give this presentation.
Great. Thanks very much, everyone.
Bye. Thanks, folks.